Hey guys, I'm Dan Falter. I'm a sport management and journalism broadcasting major at the College of Rockport, and I'm from Pennsylvania, New York.
Hi, I'm Leslie Hogue. I am a history major with a museum studies and public history minor, and I am from Lancaster, New York, but Buffalo, New York, because it's all the same.
I'm Naftali Gomez, and I'm from Washingtonville, New York. I am a physical education major and a biology minor.
Hi, I'm Abby Atkins. I am a nursing intent major with a double minor in communications and biology, and I'm from Schenectady, New York.
What is Delta? That is a question we get a lot. Delta is an interdisciplinary honors life program that you can take here at Delta at Brockport.
So one of the big advantages of Delta is the professional development aspect of it. We focus a lot on teaching you skills you're going to be using in the professional world in the future, as well as just basic communication skills for either your professional or your everyday life.
Delta is a really close-knit family. It gives more of a community feel at Brockport because we only accept about 75 students each year. So you're going to have very small classes with the same professors almost every year.
Yeah, so with that being said, you have really close relationships with your professors, which helps when you're trying to, get a job or whatever. It makes it a lot easier to find someone that'll write a letter of recommendation.
Favorite thing about Delta? My personal favorite thing about Delta is the opportunities I have had to get closer with my professors. As Neff said, we have smaller class sizes, so you have a better chance to kind of foster a connection with them. But based on this week alone of what I've been doing, the professors are extremely supportive of anything you have and are more than happy to help you get further in any goal you might come across on campus.
And playing off that, it's not just that they're close to you and you can really get to know them, but they also support you and kind of push you towards expanding your skill set, expanding your interest areas, and seeing what really you want to do with your life, what you're actually able to do.
Yeah, I hate to say the same thing, but my favorite thing is the professor.
There are more things.
There are more things, but Makatula, our literature professor, who is an author by trade, he is by far one of my most favorite professors. And Mel Riley, she's also our advisor, and you all come and meet her possibly. She's pretty awesome.
I think one of my favorite parts of Delta is that you have more opportunity to study abroad because it's built into our schedule. And even if you don't want to study abroad or you want to do an internship, we have experiential learning that's built into the curriculum. So if you have a more rigorous course load like nursing intent or basically any science major, it's built into your schedule that you'd be able to do that.
So we have a question about what the food is like on campus.
Pretty good.
Yeah, there are 2 dining halls on campus. There's Brockway, which is open every day for breakfast, and then for weekdays for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then Harrison, which is open for lunch and dinner weekdays, and then Harrison is your only dining option on the weekends. But other than that, they're in the Union. There's the Square, which has a Subway. It has a Chipotle-esque Mexican place and a bunch of easy food you can just grab. Dan and I were running quickly here, so we were able to grab some food at the Square.
The pizza is better and way more cost effective than at Trax, which is another food option.
Yep,
it's on the other side of campus from where we are now.
Yeah, Trax is late night dining where after 8 p.m. it is open until about 2-ish in the morning. And that's where you get kind of your trashy, junk food. Or pizzas, calzones, anything you might need of that sort.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Brockport's either number 1 or number 2 in SUNY food. I have friends from Albany that came here and they said this was probably some of the best food they ever ate. And I was like, really? I've been having this every day. But you won't feel too far from home.
And if you need snacks, there's Eagle's Nest, which is right by Trax in the building Harrison is in. And that's just bags of chips, food.
There's a shuttle system to Walmart and Wegmans, and so if you really need something and you want to buy in bulk or better for you food, you can go there.
Yes, and there's some restaurants in town. And any major do Delta has.
So Delta is interdisciplinary, so any major can do Delta. I'm physical ed, nursing, history, journalism.
and sport management.
Sports
But
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just depends on what your goal is through Delta. One of the reasons I came here is that with my major, I know I would be able to graduate a year early, which is really good for me with like cost and like my big goal in education, like where I need to go degree-wise. But it works with anything. It just depends on like what you're using it for.
Yeah, Delta works with any college program, but again, like Leslie was saying, like it's really important for you to notice like that not every major is going to be able to graduate early. For example, I am a part of Delta, but I can't graduate a year early because my nursing clinicals go for the 2 years that I would have graduated.
And off of those points, we should probably mention some majors can graduate early as they reference.
Yeah.
But it really depends on what major you're going for. There is actually a list of which majors will be able to graduate in the 3 or 3.5 years. And that can really be helped by this 4-year plan, which is really just planning out all of your semesters, however many they are, at the Brockport College. And it helps you know what class you're going to take, when you're going to take them, so you don't have a mess up and get stuck coming for an extra semester or two.
Yeah, and as to how it works, to graduate college regularly, you need 120 credits. Through Delta, you only need 99 credits. That being said, there are different requirements for each major, which is why it varies as to whether the 99 credits actually helps you get out a year or so early.
Anything in education, you're not graduating early.
Sorry.
You got a full 4 years. I have a full
If
4 years.
If I was history education, it probably would be a different story. But since I'm sticking with just history, I get to be done in 3.
But I don't mind that because I've heard that they pay you by the credits in high school if you get a job there. So I've heard from high school teachers.
So
I'm a full-time student.
I'm a full-time
Yeah,
student.
we're all
Yeah, so
full-time.
we are all full-time. And as to which classes do you take? For me this semester, I kind of held it on heavy. I'm at 20 credits, which means I'm taking 6 real classes and then I'm doing some other stuff for credits. Yeah, classes-wise, like I'm filling my statistics credit I need to do, so I'm in the stats class. I'm in 2 history classes, which are very cool and I really enjoy them. And then I am in 3 Delta courses, which is about par for the course as to how many Delta courses you will have each semester.
At least in the first year it is.
Yeah, and then you kind of get more of a leeway of what you choose when it fits in. That's why we do a 3 to 4 year plan at ACC 100.
Yeah, I'm pretty much full, but I also, with the Delta program, you don't have too much just like reading a textbook and taking notes and filling out all these online essay questions that don't really help you at all sometimes. But so I have the free time to actually have a job on campus and get involved in extracurricular activities that I might not otherwise if I was doing a more intensive gen ed course.
Yeah, I'm full-time as well. And right now I take a couple KISB classes. I actually took gymnastics,
What's KISB?
kinesiology, sports science.
The sports ones.
Yeah, it's all the sport majors. So,
It might be.
sorry.
Yeah.
Me and Dan are in KISB. But I took, group fitness activities. I'm taking kinetics, which is a mix of biomechanics and kinesiology. And I think that's about it in the rest of my Delta courses.
Yeah, so I'm also a full-time student. I'm taking 17 credits. I have 3 Delta courses, and then I'm doing prerequisites, which depending on your major, you're going to have gen eds that you would fill with your Delta requirements, but then you can also have prerequisites for your specific major that you have to accomplish. LLCs.
So LLC stands for Living Learning Community. It is something Rockport does in all of its dorm buildings, I think. Like each dorm building has specific ones that
does it.
its own thing though.
No, what is it? McFarland, I believe, is not going to have any LLCs. I'm going to be an RA in McFarland. I do not have an LLC next semester.
Biological sciences.
But I don't think all of them do.
But it's a living learning community. But if you choose to live in an LLC, it gives you an opportunity to be living among people who are kind of doing something with the same goals as you. Dan, Neff, and I all live in the, right? You live, yeah,
the
you're
Delta
roommates.
LLC.
They're roommates. We all live in the Delta LLC, which means we get to live in the same hall or at least between the same buildings.
LLCs are not required.
No, but I recommend it. I've had a great experience living in one.
You'll be around people with the same interests right away, so
Yeah.
it's easier to form.
At least for
Good
the
for finding
Delta.
roommates too,
It's
just
good for
because
finding
they're going to be
roommates.
relatively similar interests to you. So that'll be helpful. So you hopefully get along with them, because we've had some friends who weren't in LLC and they had a lot of roommate problems.
Yeah.
That
And
I
also,
don't think anybody in Delta has had.
I haven't.
At least not
It helps with
LLCs.
like, also, it's kind of like a built-in study group, because at least in the Delta one, we all were taking the same classes at the same time. So it was like, oh, we have a test Friday, let's all get together in the study room and figure it out.
But you're not stuck with that group of people.
No.
Like, the intention of the LLC isn't you have to be friends with this group. These are the only people you can hang out with in the dorms. Because they're wide open for everybody to hang out in. There's common rooms on every
Yeah.
floor.
And like, there are multiple LLCs on the same floor. It just more so dictates your hall.
Yeah, so I live in the nursing LLC, which basically just means that I live with the rest of the nursing intense or direct entry nursing students. So one of the benefits for that is that you have people that are in the same classes, just like the Delta LLC, but for nursing, they do programs that are specific to the nursing program. So for example, we had an event where we learned how to take blood pressure and, you know, how to talk to patients and all these really important skills that you're going to need when you go into your nursing job. So it really helps you prepare for the future. And it's also really great because right now I'm part of the residence council for my hall, and we decided to create study groups on Sunday nights where you can go and learn chemistry, which is something we're all kind of struggling with right now. But we're working through it. We're doing great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Biology's way better than chemistry.
True that.
I agree with that one.
I don't science. Delta classes, what are they like? Are they hard?
So,
Go
I've actually spoke about this. Delta classes are not gonna be exactly hard, but they may demand a little bit more work from you. So you may have to do more interpretive ability rather than just memorization. So you might have to read a little bit more to understand the topic, but you may not need to, you're gonna write a little bit more than you normally would, but they may be on topics you may like. You're gonna have a choice of probably 8 prompts to choose from in a topic, or you may even be able to make your own prompt.
I wouldn't say harder, I would say different.
Yeah,
I
that's a lot of
think
Delta in general.
that instead of the more memory-based and showing that you can remember these specific things, it's more of, can you think about these different problems? Can you understand where this idea came from rather than this is the idea? So it's a lot more interpretive, like he said, and just using your own brain to think about things instead of just using it to regurgitate information that you might not need.
I also think that like Delta courses are a lot more like group-based work.
Mhm.
So a lot of our projects, you're going to be collaborating with other people, which is something that's going to be so important when you go into the work field. It really prepares you for that. And in addition to that, our class sizes are about 25 per session or section. Yeah. And so your class sizes automatically make it to where it's going to be where you're not like lost in a lecture hall of 150 people. Like you're going to have that one-on-one. You're going to be able to have that conversation with the professor that you wouldn't necessarily have if you were in that giant lecture hall.
Yeah, which Brockport itself does not do a lot of lecture halls, which is a big reason why I'm here, because I dislike lecture halls. Specifically to Delta classes, though, I enjoy that the classroom is more of a conversation versus a lecture. Like you can't escape lectures. There are some times when the professor does have to get a lot of information to you at once, but otherwise it's a lot of asking what you think, what you can base your opinions on based on the reading, or just even in the one class Dan and I are in, we're just talking a lot about like gender and what it means in the sense of just reading articles, and it's a conversation that we're not even being tested on. It's just interesting conversations to have in your life.
And you're not gonna have to do these giant 100-question Scantron tests at the end of the year, which I love because I hated doing those in high school. They were always something I dreaded at the end of the year. But for this, instead of doing that giant, hey, learn everything you can from this textbook and hope you pass, it's, hey, we're gonna do this big project. For an example, one of our first classes in the Delta program is called Human Heritage. And we actually put a play on as our final. Everybody gets to basically say what part of the play they want to do. and then they're split up into groups, and you either act or you direct or you do stage crew, and you show that you are using these professional skills and interpersonal skills to get these giant teamwork projects done.
Yeah, and if it is writing, it's usually more interesting. The play was more of like, it was a pre-final or it just ended up being its own separate grade, and then the final was like a dialogue. Instead of being like, oh, write an 8-page paper, it was no, here's a guideline based on formatting that of how long this dialogue should be, where it was like, this person speaks with some text of context, but otherwise it was like you got to create a conversation about everything we had read that semester, and it was one of the better things I've ever written. How to apply to Delta.
Just Google Brockport Delta College.
Yeah, and then we'll show up on the website, and then it says like apply now or something.
And you can use your general Brockport essay for that, and then there's just a few short answer questions. I think there's 4 or 5 that you have to answer, and they're just short answer, like personality type questions.
Yeah, we want to know who you are versus what your grades are. Just a better read of you as a well-rounded human being.
Yeah, it's not that.
Were you involved? What did you do?
Why did you do it?
Not necessarily that you're a straight A student, but are you a student who actually tries to get involved, that shows that they're a hard worker and shows that they want to be a part of their community?
Jimmy's Ease. So favorite thing about Rockport. So this kind of relates to like the food question that was asked earlier. Yeah. So around the campus of Rockport on Main Street, there's this place called Jimmy's Ease. They have really, really good burgers. So if you are just like having a bad day and you just really need some food, you can call Jimmy's Ease and they will deliver it until 1 a.m. And I will not even lie. That has saved my life so many times. So I'm studying really late. And I just really, really want Jimmy's Ease. Yeah.
My favorite thing about Brockport is that there's a little of everything. I mean, there's every club you can think of. They got the dining halls. They mix it up. They have events. They have themes. You have all your different programs. You have friendly people, mean people, loving people. You know, there's a little of everything. Seriously, at Brockport, you know, if you want to sit down and, you know, geek it out and learn your things, or you need to go out and have some fun on the weekend, that's possible. So there's a little of everything.
My favorite thing about Brockport was just like, it was the one thing that kind of drew me here when I first toured. It's just like the atmosphere. There's something about the way everything is on campus where it just like, at least for me, it put me in the sense of, cool, I'm exactly where I want to be, doing exactly what I should be doing. Or it's like, it has just given me the confidence. Like, it's weird to say the atmosphere did it, but like it's what had me make most of my friends, because I had the feeling of like, oh, I should approach this person. And now I am in a larger friend group than I ever thought I would possibly be in, because I don't like large groups, but it's incredible.
So it's going to sound like a really cheesy plug, but Delta College is actually my favorite part of Rockport. When I was trying to decide where I wanted to go, because I switched my majors a bunch of times before I came to Rockport.
Which is normal, and if you're doing that, you're more than okay.
Yeah, I mean, I've changed. I was going to be a marine biologist and then a physics major, and then sport management major, and then journalism. But anyway, so I was trying to decide between here and Cortland, but then I came to the Brockport open house, and it just felt so well done, and everybody seemed so welcoming, and the Delta College really interested me in that like professional development and personal development that isn't available anywhere else. They don't have a program like that, and I've loved learning these skills and actually getting to meet a bunch of people who are trying to do the same thing as me.
Yeah, there's no equivalent to the Delta College anywhere else in the SUNY system. This is only a Brockport thing.
What are your future plans? I'll go first because I plan out everything. My future plans are, I want to be a museum director in some affiliation with, excuse me, the National Park System. Whatever gets me there will get me there, but that is my current end goal.
My future plans are to get into the nursing program. It's more of a short-term future goal, but we're working on it. But beyond that, hopefully a nurse practitioner of pediatric oncology.
I don't even know what I'm gonna have for breakfast. No, I'm kidding. I want to be a phys ed teacher, hopefully back in my high school or somewhere in the area in Orange County, New York, and be a part-time personal trainer.
If I'd gotten this question a week and a half ago, I could have given you an answer, but I have no idea right now. I'm gonna be honest. Right now, I'm trying to pass this year, probably get involved with student government next semester and year, and other than that, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Dan has no idea what he wants to
Best
do for
place
breakfast.
to live on campus.
McVicker.
That's it's a difficult question. I don't remember. Do you get a say on your housing application?
Yes.
You can say an LLC.
So
On LLC.
you can choose to either have a 4-person or a 2-person
Yeah.
room.
It's a lot
I'm
of
pretty sure we
personal
all
preference.
live in corridor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They try to
so-
put me in a suite though.
I
Didn't
wanted a
say.
suite, got put in corridor. I guess the best place, it's best to choose corridor your first year because you won't
Yeah.
get that chance again afterwards. Usually you're gonna be put into suites your
Mhm.
sophomore year, and some people live off campus after that.
I would agree with the go for corridor because it's really cool and it really gets you to integrate
Yeah.
with full community because you're not really going to want to spend all your time sitting in a small room with maybe one other person that's there half the time.
Yeah.
But also the best place to live is going to be the place where you think you're going to have the most friends. So
Yeah.
look for the LLC that's most interesting to you and that you think you would best fit in and go for that one because even if it's a suite or hall style, there's going to be programs and people who have the same interests and that's where you're going to have the best time.
Yeah. Like physical location wise, you can't really lose Based on
McVicker-
wherever the-
McVicker is still the best physical location.
based on wherever the dorms are because it's just how close you are to either Brockway or Harrison, how close you are to where your personal classes are. I'm happy where I ended up in McVicker, but I'm sure I would have had a fine time living in like Thompson and McLean.
What else is around off campus?
Not a lot.
Rochester?
Rochester.
Rochester's like,
If you have a car,
If you have a-
Rochester is definitely an
If
option.
you have a car and you're willing to drive like a half hour, then yeah.
It's 20 minutes before shift.
we've done it.
We
We've
do
done it a
not,
lot.
we do not condone.
Yeah.
Yeah, as to like what's around, there's Main Street, which has a movie theater, Jimmy Z's, some bookstores and stuff. There's a couple like parks nearby, there's restaurants, there's like an Arby's, a Wendy's. There's a
Walmart.
really shady bowling alley, but you can get in for free, so like, pick your battle.
No wonder it's so shady.
Well, because like every restaurant is like, oh, present this and have a free game of bowling. Yeah, there's a TJ Maxx, there's a Goodwill, there's a Walmart, there's a Wegmans.
Apparently a really good Goodwill. I haven't been there, but
Oh,
everybody
it's so
really
good.
enjoys
The
it.
TJ Maxx also is stellar.
That's where
I
I
bought
got
a hat
my
there.
abominable snowman pajamas.
But Rochester is definitely the place. They got so many things to
Just
eat.
either have like, even though this is in the middle of nowhere, like it doesn't always feel like it.
And honestly, there's so much stuff going on around campus
Yeah,
pretty much
that
all
you
the
won't
time
feel
that
trapped.
you're not
Far.
really gonna feel like you
As long
need
as
to
you
go
check.
out, but if you really want to, you probably will
We went
have
to
a
Niagara
car.
Falls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
We went-
not, it was so cold, it was like a negative something and
The
windy.
falls was
and
basically frozen. Horrible.
Like an
It's like the
example,
first weekend back, second weekend back, it was.
an example
My
of
beard froze.
an event they're having is like this Friday, they're doing roller skating in the ballroom in the Union. They do plenty of stuff like that to make you not feel trapped.
Sounds dangerous.
Advice for incoming freshmen. Question I've received a
Join
lot.
Delta.
Join Delta.
Um,
It is gonna
And
like,
you can really only get in when you're an incoming freshman,
Yeah.
so it's kind of like a make or break, I guess. I don't want to say it like that, but that's the best way to describe it.
Have an open mind. Be
Please.
open
Please
and
be
experiment
open.
with everything you can. Well, not the bad things, but everything that you think could be a good opportunity, go for it. And
Yeah.
You have nothing to lose. You have the rest of your life ahead of you. You're only, 18?
Don't,
Yeah, the biggest thing I was told when I was coming to college was just say yes. Same in mind as him, is like being open to things, is just like, say it's like 9 PM and you have a 9:30 the next day, but your friends are like, or someone you just met is like, oh, hey, like, we're gonna go to tracks, do you wanna come? Just say yes, like, that is how you make friends, that is how you get these stories.
be careful about committing to too many things, because
Yes,
I did that my first semester and had no free time for the first 4 or 5 weeks of classes, and then I was sick and couldn't do anything for like 3 weeks.
Yep.
And basically went AWOL from all of my friends, and they didn't see me except for Neff when he came in to go to sleep. So it was,
He did do that.
it was rough. So don't
But if you can
overdo it, yeah.
What about you, Abby?
I mean,
Advice?
honestly, I would just say, like, get involved. Like, there's something here for you. Like, even if you don't think so, like, I found rugby. I never thought I'd be a rugby player.
I tried rugby.
I tried rugby. I couldn't, okay.
I showed up for one day and said, I said,
I
guys,
hurt my ankle.
I respect you all.
I showed up for more than one day, but it just didn't fit my schedule this semester, but I plan on joining next semester. But I'm still like really close friends with the rugby team, and like all the girls are still really welcoming, even though I'm not a part of their actual
I'm going to
club.
shamelessly plug the history forum right now. I am going to be president of it, in the fall semester. It is our history club here on campus. It is a great opportunity to come see like the museums that are around. Like, we're working on making sure there's transportation to everything. Our meetings are very fun. Just come check it out, please.
Yeah, I'll be president of the vegan club. Yeah, that's a thing here on campus. It really is.
What's the vegan club?
So the vegan club is a club for
What do
vegans.
you do?
But I'm changing the name because it's called, I'm looking to become president. It's called Veg Club right now, and it's not too opening. I'm one of the only people who show up, and I'm looking to
Same
expand.
with history forum.
I'm looking to expand its borders. So look for a different name next semester coming to Brockport.
All right, so we have a question about if you have time for extracurriculars while being a pre-nursing student. Yes, I can tell you definitely yes. I am currently a nursing intense student. I am on a e-board or higher board for Residence Hall Association. I started out being the one solely from my hall or where I live, and then I was elected into a higher position as a freshman first semester. I have a job on campus in the International Global Outreach department. I have time to go to group exercise activities, Zumba every Tuesday. It's great. Yeah, Zumba. Honestly, it's really up to you how much time and effort you want to put in. I mean, I know that I have a schedule that is a smorgasbord of color that is just everything that needs to happen. But if that's something that works for you, do it. Literally.
Comment on that last question, because they said they were on gymnastics team. We just won national for D3,
Yeah.
so it's gonna be a good team. So
If you're on that team, congratulations.
And also,
well, I don't think they're on.
just to add, in general,
It will be.
for college, you always have more time than you think. There are 24 hours in a day. I know it took a while for me to break the idea oh gosh, I can only do things from 7 to 3 because that's what it was in high school. But there's so much time in the day. There's so much time to get used to okay, I only have class from noon to 2. So that means I can do work in the morning, do work afterwards, and then have my evenings free.
That's if you manage your time. I don't do that sometimes, and it's a problem.
Yeah, well, you hear the people that are oh my goodness, I was up until 4 a.m. studying last night. And it's
I've never done
that, if that happens to you, you kind of did it to yourself. That should not be your expectation going into it.
The college
If you
student
feel
stereotype is not real.
Yeah,
Do not
no.
stay up
As much as I procrastinate,
Well,
I have never been up at midnight doing work. Personally, because I know how to budget my time when it's needed to. Dan?
Dan is nocturnal.
If you want to sleep in / stay up late, you can. If you're in Delta, you get priority registration.
You do.
So you can schedule your first class at 2 p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays and wake up at 1:30, and it's pretty sweet.
Looking at the fall right now, I don't have class until 3 on Monday and Wednesday, and I don't have classes on Friday. And I get to make sure that happens because of Delta.
Study abroad.
Study abroad?
Do it.
You can do it.
I want to.
Provides a great opportunity for you to do that. As Abby mentioned earlier, with the experiential learning credits that you need to fulfill in the curriculum, they encourage you to do it. And if you're trying to do a program that's not necessarily at Brockport, if it's in the SUNY system, you can do it. And Delta has so many connections that if you're worried about pricing or about what to do, there's most likely a Delta who has done it before you have, and if you just ask any of the professors, they can get you in contact to figure out which program is best for you. And it's more than easy to do. If I wasn't here for 3 years, if I wasn't here for only 3 years, I most definitely would be studying abroad, but I kind of love Brockport and Delta too much, and I don't want to miss out on experiences here. Because like I can study abroad in grad school. Like I'm not doing that for undergrad.
I think the other important thing to mention is that if you're thinking about studying abroad and you're worried about like cost or stuff like that, there are so many scholarship opportunities. You just have to apply, and that way potentially you could get money to go study abroad if you're really interested in it.
And find out who heads the program that you want to do. When I was going to go study abroad in Ireland, there's a history transfer program. And I immediately went to the head of the program, was like, this is what I want to do. What do I need to do to make sure I secure funding and everything? And he was more than willing to help me out. So if you can figure that stuff out, that's a way to get a leg up on everyone else.
I would love to study abroad, and I might look into it in the future, but some of the current plans I have would not really allow me to do that, just because I'll need to be on campus for a full year, just because of commitments, so.
Rockport goes to all 7
Do you call it Brockport, SUNY Brockport, or college at Brockport?
All of the above.
Depends on
B4.
depends on the
No,
depends on
it's
the way
B4.
you have
The
to say
fourth.
it.
I will text Bport, I will just say Bport.
I see. Say
It
the
depends
fourth.
on your company and the context and what's going on. If it's like in an email, my email like signature is my name and then student at SUNY College at Brockport, because that's the official name. But if I'm referring to it, it's like, oh, I go to Brockport. Because if people know it, if not, it's like, oh, it's a SUNY school, or it's called the College at Rockport.
So I was just
It's called
working on
Rockport.
some
Fort Brock.
like official writing stuff, and it was the College at Brockport, the State University of New York. So like you don't really ever have to say that. Usually you can get away with Brockport.
All right.
So thank you guys for hanging out with us. Really appreciate it. If you have any more questions, feel free to email Mel and she will ask them. And if
She's
you're
on
coming,
the Delta page.
yeah, if you look at Delta, you'll find her stuff.
Also,
If you,
follow our
Delta has
Instagram
stuff to do.
at Delta_college and our Twitter at Delta_college. Same thing.
if you're coming to the accepted students day on Saturday, we hope to see you there. We will be all spread out and everywhere. So if you recognize any of the 4 of us, oh my goodness.
There's
I'm not a math major, I told you that. If you recognize us, please feel free to come up and say hi. Be sure to visit the campus, it's wonderful, and I wasn't sold on it until I stepped foot here. So that could kind of change the game. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night.
If you're a liberal arts major and come to Accepted Students Day, please come to the liberal arts building, because nobody was there just in general for not even.
All right. Thanks for joining us.
Thank
Bye.